Well, as a matter of fact, I was needing a boy. If you don't mind, cash upon liking, Mr. Bumble. Cash upon liking. Mrs. Sowerberry? Will you have the goodness to come here for a moment, my dear? My dear, I have told our good friend, Mr. Bumble, that we may consider taking in this boy to help in the shop. There's an expression of melancholy on his face, my dear, which is very interesting. He could make a delightful coffin follower. I don't mean a regular coffin follower to follow grown-ups, but only for a children's practice. It would be very nice to have a follower in proportion, my sweet. A superb effect, the more I think about it. Never mind about black hats. What's going on in my parlor? £5 worth run off. £5 of mine run off? After him! He's a born undertaker's mute. I can see him in a black silk suit, following behind the funeral procession with his features fixed in a suitable expression. There'll be horses with tall black plumes to escort us to the family tombs, with mourners in all corners who've been taught to weep in tune. Then the coffin lined with satin, that's your funeral. Large enough to wear your hat in, that's your funeral. We're just here to glamorize you for that endless sleep. That's your funeral. If you're fond of overeating, that's your funeral. Starve yourself by undereating, that's your funeral. That's your funeral. That's your funeral. That's your funeral. We don't harbor thoughts macabre, there's no need to frown. That's your funeral. Come in, Doctor. I think you'll find a great improvement in the boy. Thank you, Mrs. Bedwin. How do you feel today, my boy? If you wish, dear boy, if you wish, here's the doctor to see you. You'll be glad to be up again, Oliver. Doctor, do you notice the most extraordinary likeness between the boy's face and the portrait of my daughter Agnes? And which is Oliver? Didn't I tell you? He was arrested for stealing my pocket handkerchief. It was all my mistake, and when the shopkeeper told us what really happened, he was released by the magistrate. I brought him here to make what amends I could, but I must confess, I find myself strangely attached to the child. He didn't. Yes, what is it? Ah, yes, thank you. Now, I got some other books here. Hey, wait a moment. Hey, come back. Oh dear, he's gone, and I particularly wish some books to be returned today. Oh, very well, my boy, very well. If you wish, you shall. Now, I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to take these books and say that you come to pay the £4.10 that Mr. Brownlow owes. Here's £5. No need to rush. It's just down the road, but I shall expect you back in 10 minutes. Now let us see, Mrs. Bedwin. 10 minutes. I understand you bring information regarding the boy, Oliver Twist. Yes, and do you know where the boy is now? Well, what do you know of him? You say that when he left your workhouse, he went to an undertaker's? You mean to say you sold him like an animal? Really? Then I will see to it that neither of you is employed in a situation of trust again. You may leave my house. Indeed it will, and you may think yourselves well off besides. That is no excuse. You were present on the occasion when the boy was sold, and indeed are the more guilty of the two in the eyes of the law, for the law supposes that your wife acts under your direction. Mrs. Bedwin, kindly escort these two out of my house. Mrs. Bedwin, take a look at this miniature. You see who it is? Yes, my daughter Agnes, and I have every reason to suspect that Oliver was her child. I'm sorry if anyone has ever been rude to you. Can I help in any way? Yes, why? You? Where is this place you speak of? Fagin's? Did you perhaps know that Oliver is probably my grandchild? Murder? But where is Oliver? Where is this Fagin's? But what can I do about this? Why must you go back? What is the reason you can't tell me where he is? And why do you have to return to those people? I can call the Bow Street runners in a moment, and if you tell them what you have just told me, then I will see that you come to no harm. My dear ladies, do excuse me, but I am anxious about Oliver. How can you help me? I promise you solemnly. I see you there. Help! Help! Well, I came here to meet this poor creature, and as I crossed the bridge, I saw someone rapidly disappearing in the other direction. He was a broad-shouldered, heavily built man. He wore a blue coat and a tall hat. Come, Oliver, we'll take you home now.